We're talking about Chapter 5 percent test. This is the study guide, page 2. Our learning target on the other side of this test will be about I can find the part and the whole when I'm given a percent. So depending on what the question is looking for, we're going to be finding the part or we're finding the whole. Question 4 says find the percent of the number. What is 40% of 35? So this is asking this is finding the part. We have the percent equation we can use where we have the percent times the whole will tell us the part. So if we know the whole and we know the percent, we can find the part using our trusty calculators. I want to show you using benchmarks as another tool to solve this if you don't have your calculator. So 40% of some number or of 35 is some number. 40% of 35. So I am going to look for 10%. 10% of 35 is when I take 35 and I divide it by 10. So 35 divided by 10 is 3.5. And in class, we talked about you kind of just scoot the decimal one place value over. Dividing by 10 just moves our places values over 1. So 10% of 35 is 3.5. Well, if I need 40%, I'm going to need 10% 4 times. I need 10% times 4 would be 40%. So 3.5 times 4 will give me 40% of 35. 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 more is 14. One number behind the decimal. My answer is 14. Using our percent equation, what can we type in our calculator? We're going to type in 40% times 35. Remember, some of our calculators don't know percents, so you're going to need to use your decimal form of 40%. 40% as a decimal, 0.4 times 35. Again, that will be 14. So 0.4, it would help if I turn this on. 0.4 times 35 gives us 14. If you have my calculator and you want to use the percent button, my percent button is the second feature on number 2. So I would have to say 40 second 2, and look, it turns it into the decimal for me, times 35. Number 5, find the whole. 28 is 40% of what number? The directions say we're finding the whole. It says of what number. That tells us we're looking for the whole. When I'm looking for the whole, I like to start by drawing a diagram so that I can visually see approximately where my answer needs to go. So when I start typing numbers in my calculator, if I get something really small or really big, I can justify that makes sense or it does not make sense. So we're looking for 100%. We're told 40%. So let's go 20, 40, 60, 80. We're told 40% is the same as the number 28. Okay, so I know that 100% is going to be more than double 28. So when I start if I use my calculator later, if I get a number that's not more than double of 28, I know I've done something wrong. Or if I get something really, really small, I know that I've done something wrong because I'm looking for 100%. Okay, if I'm using benchmarks or if I'm using this model, I can say, well, 40% is 28. 20% would be half of that because 20 is half of 40. So 28, half of that is 14. So that means this is counting by 14s. To get from 20 to 100, I can multiply by 5. So 14 times 5 will get me my answer. 14 times 5 is 70. If I'm using my equation like up here, percent times whole equals the part, I'm going to have to reverse my equation because I know 40% but I don't know the whole, and I know the part. So instead of multiplying, I'm going to need to divide. So 28 divided by 40%. Or if your calculator doesn't have a percent button, 28 divided by 4/10 as a decimal. So 28 divided by 0.4 gets us 70 as well. Question 3. Mrs. Wynn has a total of 120 students in her classes. Of these students, 30% ride the bus, 25% get picked up, and the rest walk to school. How many students walk home? I guess the question here should have said how many walk to school, but that's here nor there. So we're looking for numbers of how many ride the bus, get picked up, and walk home. Specifically, it asked about how many students walk home. We're told 30% and 25% and the rest. So we have to assume, if we're talking percents, that the rest would add up to 100, right? If I have my model here, 100% is the same as 120. 25% get picked up. Another 30, so this would be 25. Another 30 after that would be 55%. So this much doesn't walk, and 45% of them walk home. 100 take away 55, 45. Okay. All right, so let's find the percent of students that ride the bus. So 30% out of the 120 total. Using benchmarks, I could say 10% of 120 is 12. I would need 10%, so 12 times 3 means 36 students ride the bus. If I was using an equation, I would need 0.3 times 120 to get that 36. 25% get picked up. So what's 25% of 120? To find 25%, we can divide by 4. So 120 divided by 4 is 12 divided by 4 is 3 with a 0. So 30. The rest of the 120 students are going to be walking home. So I can either look for what is 45% of 120, or I can add the numbers that I already know and subtract that from 120. So let's do this both ways. 36 plus 30 means I'm going to take 66 away from 120 to get 54. If I'm finding 45% of 120 in my calculator, I could do 0.25 times 120. Did I say 25? 0.45 times 120 to get 54. So two different avenues to get there, whether I'm subtracting from 120 or I'm finding the percent that's left over out of 120. So the number of students that walk home is 54 students.